What's good with you? How's everybody doing this morning? Another early morning for me. I think it kind of feels like I psych myself up before I go to sleep sometimes, Like, all right, I'm gonna get a full night's sleep. And then in the back of my mind, my subconscious is like, no, you ain't. You know what I mean? It's all good though. I've had 6 hours of sleep. I've had 6 hours of sleep. I'm trying to get some sage going here. Damn it, my lighter ain't working. Anyway, I'm gonna get some sage going here in just a minute after I get started. I want to clear the air a little bit. Been pulling in some heavy energies past couple days here in the studio. Anyway, yeah, I've been up since 4 in the morning, man. Good 6 hours of sleep though. That's how I can justify it to myself, I can kind of justify it by like counting down. Okay, so when did I go to bed? About 10, something like that. 10 something. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6 hours. Okay, I'm good. I'm that type of person. 5 hours minimum. Minimum. Anything under 5 hours and I don't function very well. You know what I mean? So I've had about 6 hours, I'm good. But whenever I'm up this early in the morning, it usually does kind of require me to have like a midday nap. And my daughter's got another soccer game this morning. Man, I'm gonna tell you what, bro. Man, my kid kicks ass. And I'm not even saying that just to brag. You all have heard me. You all have heard me talk about my kiddos. I'm a very non-biased parent. I've always wanted to make it a very strong point to not be that, oh, my kid type of parent. You know what I mean? That's always been one of my biggest pet peeves, how every parent thinks that their kid is the most special thing on the planet. I try to not be like that. But dude, my daughter is the baddest ass soccer player on that whole field. And I didn't think she was gonna be, dude. Like, she went to two practices, and it didn't look like she knew what in the hell she was doing. And I'm thinking, oh man, this game's gonna roll around and she's not gonna know what in the shit she's doing. So we go to this game and I don't have any expectations at all. She gets out there and she scores the first goal. I mean, she's the one running and getting the ball, and she's the one, and they beat the team. They beat the other team like 6-0. The other team couldn't even score on them. And I'm like, damn. And then she had another game, did the same thing. And I'm like, I'm trying to see it through like, okay, like I said, non-biased eyes. And Leah's swearing, hey, Amy's the best one out there. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you really think it's all because of her? And then one of the rounds, they had her be the goalie. So she wasn't out there on the field playing. And the team sucked. They didn't do anything. And then I'm like, man, they need to put her back on there. Let's see. She came back out on the field and started playing. That team's kicking ass again. I'm like, damn. You know? It's like my kid's the best. And I know I hate hearing myself say that, my kid, but it's the truth. I'm like, damn, she's the best one out there, best one on the whole field, And it kind of, come to think of it, that type of thing does kind of tend to run on my dad's side of the family. Like pretty much on my dad's side of the family, we all inherit this, I don't know how to word it, but it's like this really, really, really extra super, almost like crazy type of weird intelligence that like is makes you kind of weird, and it can be very easily misguided though. Most of the people who are from my dad's side of the family are really, really crazy, super fucking weird, intelligent, but can be very, very misguided, and it can take that energy and focus it in the wrong direction and end up becoming criminals and not good people. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, man. Anyway, so my daughter's got another soccer game today, and actually they asked my other daughter, if she would play in this game too, because a few of the kids are going to be out of town or something like that. So both my kids are going to be playing in this game today. Anyway, I don't know if y'all care about that, but that's what my morning is going to consist of. Let me grab my lighter real quick, and I'm going to clear the air with this sage. Hang on, y'all. to get a little clearing of the air. What's up, people? How y'all doing? I do think that this shouldn't be too early for most of you. I'm in Vegas, and right now it's just before 6 or before 5 or 6. Fuck, what time is it? Not too early. Most of y'all are on the East Coast, right? Like 3 hours ahead of me. There we go. There we go. Ooh, that's going good. All right. Let's clear the air. Clear the air with good vibes and good intentions today. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it is going to be a great day. It's going to be a good day. Got to come straight home and do a reading, though. That's my thing. And now another little wave of readings have hit me. So I'm going to be here in the studio. Here in the studio working. Oh, man, how y'all liking this Mercury retrograde, man? How's it doing you? I'm ready for it to be over. We got 9 more days. 9 more days. It goes direct the 18th. Goes direct the 18th, and I'm just counting down them days. And I know that's probably not the right mentality to have. It's probably not. It's probably not. And I remember, well, anymore, I do the best I can not to. But I used to kind of be a little bit cocky about it, a little bit arrogant about it. Like, oh, man, I'll figure this out. Next retrograde, I got this, you know? And that's the ego trying to get all cocky, like, I got this, you know? And I haven't. Never, ever, ever have I got this. Never. It never happens. So now it's to the point where it's like, well, all right, here comes another retrograde, Mercury at least. And I know, let's see, the other intense one is Venus, I believe. The last time Venus went retrograde was right before I left Maine, very shortly, almost right after I started my tarot channel. Venus went retrograde, and that was an intense one too. That one was really intense in a weird, strange, funky kind of way. But man, them Mercury retrogrades, boy, I haven't quite figured out how to function, I guess. I mean, it's so difficult because we have if we didn't live in the system that we live in, you know, I mean, even if you're self-employed, even if you are an entrepreneur in the spiritual community, like a tarot reader or a Reiki healer or somebody like that or whatever, you still are kind of somewhat functioning in the system of I have to work to bring in money. You know what I mean? And I got bills to pay. These bills don't pay themselves, you know, so that's still somewhat functioning in the third dimensional system, in the 3D system, while that last little bit of the system is still functioning. So it's because of that. But, you know, if we were able, man, it'd be lovely if I was able to just say, you know what? I'm taking the next 2 weeks and I'm just going to lay around on my ass and not do nothing. Not putting no videos on YouTube, not doing no damn personal readings, not doing no nothing. I'm just going to take, is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? It's like 3 weeks Mercury's in retrograde. I can't do that. Are you fucking kidding me? I can't do that. I can't do that. Sorry. I mean, it's work. It's my job. You know what I mean? It's my job. It is my job. I got bills to pay. This house don't pay for itself. Our food don't pay for itself. You know what I mean? So, and I hate to sound that way. You know? And the thing that's so hard about it too, like I said, no, it's not all about money. But if I want to keep my business going, if I want to keep my business alive, I have to bring 100% value to the table. You know? And when I'm all, the retrograde energies are bogging me down, it can be difficult to bring your best self and 100% value to the table. It takes extra energy, you know what I mean? It takes extra energy. So until that day comes where, you know, any of us can just say, all right, Mercury retrograde's coming up. I'm planning the next 3 weeks to just lounge around on my ass and not do nothing. Okay, maybe. And maybe there's some people out there that can do that. I don't know. Maybe there's some people out there that can do that, but not me. I can't do that. I can't do that. Of course, that could just be that Virgo moon talking. It could be. I don't know. I mean, okay, so technically on paper, could I afford it? Yeah, technically. Would I like lose everything and go broke? No. But that would put a huge dent in my income. Put a huge dent in my income. You know what I mean? Huge dent. So whatever, I don't know. Because I refuse to stop and I refuse to slow down and I refuse to plateau. You know, everybody's like, oh, Mercury retrograde's a plateau period. Plateau my ass. I don't have time to plateau. I ain't got no time to plateau, man. I don't have time. You know? Know what I mean? No, every planet functions differently. I mean, they're not, but no, every planet functions differently. And I don't even really remember, because I'm not an astrologer. Not really. Not really. My foundation is energy behavior. Okay. So I'm not an astrologer. I don't know what's doing what up there. I know how energy behaves and how certain astrological energies influence people and how those energies behave and interact with each other. But but I'm pretty sure that there has something to do with my chart. I've been told that Mercury retrograde will affect me very specifically. And it may be because I'm an Aquarius. And if I remember correctly, I have Mercury in Aquarius too, I think. Something to do with that. But no, Mercury is a really intense one. Like, we've had several, and it's not the only planet that goes retrograde either, I think. Because planets go retrograde all the time. That's the thing. It's not something that just happens once and then never happens again. Mercury goes retrograde like, what, 4 times a year? Something like that? 3-4 times a year? It's like, fuck. Whenever it's over, it's like, yeah. But then, you got a countdown of like 3-4 months before it happens again. And some of them are easier to get through than others. And let me think of the last one that was easier. It wasn't this last one, but I'm thinking it was the one before last. I'm wanting to say it was the one before last. It may have been the one even before that one. But there was one 2 or 3 retrogrades ago that was actually fucking chill. I was like, whoa, this really isn't all that bad. Okay, I can hang with this one. But that's very few and far between, very few and far between. There is almost always technological glitches. Almost always. For me, here's the thing for me. For me, I feel this tug of war happening inside of me. The only way I can explain it is it feels like I'm split, a line drawn down the middle of me. And one half of me is tired and bogged down and just wants to go to bed and go to sleep. And the other half of me is hyper and excited. Let's go do something. And the other half of me is like, I don't want to move. I want to go to bed. No, I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to lay down. I need to move. I need to do something. And both of these things, 50% of both of them are happening inside of me at all times. Throughout the whole damn retrograde. And that's why it's like, you know what I'm saying? I get on camera to do my work, and I'll tell y'all, man, I feel like I'm swimming through molasses right now. Because there's half of me that wants to be like, yeah, let's get these readings done. And the other half is like, no, let's go to bed. Let's go to bed and sleep the day away. That's the best way that I can describe it. The best way I can describe it. That's the best way I can describe it. Yeah, that's what everybody's telling me, that it has something to do with my chart. That's why it affects me that way. Something to do with my chart. And I don't remember the whole damn chart. I really don't. I probably should start looking astrologically, like up in the sky, But that's not where I feel drawn. I don't feel pulled to what actually is happening in the sky. There's a lot of people out there doing that and can tell you that just doesn't feel like my forte. My forte is energy and how it behaves and how to interact with it, how to change your energy, how to play around with your own energy, how to program yourself energetically. That's where I feel drawn. That's where I feel like my main, at least for now. And I've always kind of been that way. I never really knew exactly why. I want to say a couple of relationships that I had when I was really young, when I was like a teenager, in my late teens, early 20s, is what really got me looking at astrological signs. You know what I mean? Really got me looking into it. And it really just kind of started off, well, obviously it started off with me, looking into the Aquarius sign, which is what most of us do. We look at our own, and I think I would have to say, though, that if there's one sign that's really, really responsible for me absolutely obsessing over astrology, it would have to be the sign of Cancer. It would have to be the sign of Cancer. It would have to be. I think that it would definitely have to be. As far as me breaking the mold and looking at the behaviors of signs outside of my own, the very first one that I just absolutely obsessively dedicated every ounce of my mental energy to was the sign of Cancer. Yeah. It got to the point. It got to the point where I could smell Cancerian energy on anybody, because I got involved with a very toxic Cancer, a very toxic one, very, very toxic one that played me like a fucking fiddle, and that I became like, I'm the type, maybe it's because I'm an Aquarius, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a fixed sign. I'm the type, though, that when I set my mind on something, I get obsessed. That's just me. I've just always been that way. When one thing grabs my attention, I get obsessed with it. Like, obsessed with it, And that's what I did. Let's see, that was 2015, 16, 17. About 2 or 3 years, about 2 or 3 solid years, I dedicated it to the sign of Cancer. I don't care where your Cancer placement is, sun, moon, rising. I will study your every fucking movement. I will study all of your body language. I will study the things you say, the things you don't say. I will fucking pick you apart until I can explain you molecularly. You know what I mean? And that's what I did for the longest time. And because I got involved with a toxic Cancer that, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm going to figure this fucking sign out. You know what I mean? And I just really took it from there. But I've just always really been pulled to astrological signs and energies, pretty much. I've always been pulled towards it, but that's the one that really, really, really pushed me over the deep end, I'd have to say. I may be getting some of my time frames confused and whatnot, so don't quote me on this and try to write an autobiography about me, because it's really early in the morning and I may not be getting my facts 100% straight. But for the most part, it really did start when I was about maybe 19 or so. And I would have to say, because in the first long-term relationship I was ever in was with a Cancer, and then my second long-term relationship was with a Virgo. But I've just always kind of had this thing. And me being a dude, like I said, man, when it comes to this kind of stuff, I've always kind of been a little bit out of place. You know what I mean? Been a little bit out of place to be the type of person that's into these types of things, So it was always hush, hush. I'd always keep it to myself. I wouldn't share it with very many people unless you were really fucking close. That's very few people have ever gotten that close to me, But I would always try to figure out a way, like, let's say I got a job somewhere, and, I got a team of, 8 or 9 coworkers. I would do the best that I can to learn every last one of your signs, and over time, I would get to figuring out every last one of your birthdays so I could find out your sun sign and your moon sign. And that right there was hours of mental entertainment for me observing you. All day, every day, me observing you. And then me observing this person and observing how the two of you interact. Just all day, every day. All day, every day for years and years and years and years and years. That's all I did. You know what I mean? And I never knew why. I was really pulled to doing this. I was just fascinated and obsessed with it, I wasn't really one of those types of people that would say, oh, I want to know about Geminis, so I'm going to go read about them on this website and then base my entire fucking opinion on what I read. No. Oh, okay, you're a Gemini. Now, let me figure out how to sneak into the conversation, asking what your birthday is and the year and everything like that. And I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to go home when I get off work and I'm going to look up your moon sign. Okay, I got you. Now, I'm watching you. You don't know this. I'm not saying shit about it, but I'm watching you all day, every day. Just observing, taking mental notes. Just observing, taking mental notes. And I did this with everybody I was around at every job that I ever worked, period, for years, a decade probably, you know? And yeah, I never knew why I was pulled to it. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. Because all those years of all that it really helps my career now. You know, now I make a very good living with all that information that I had no idea why I was collecting it my whole life, and it makes sense now. You know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, though, yeah, I'm an airhead. Yeah, yeah, I'm an airhead. I'm an airhead, man. I'm an airhead. Oh. I can't really tell any one person how. I mean, whoever that was that just asked about your karma. Okay, have you ever heard me tell my 3 steps about how to untie from a karmic situation? The only thing karma is unresolved energy. That's all it is. So all it is unresolved energy. Okay, whoever that was that just asked something about karma. All karma is unresolved energy. Okay, why is energy unresolved? Because your power, your true power, has been hidden and suppressed from you for a very long time. So what we do as creative beings here who are in amnesia and we have no idea who we truly are, what do? We come here and we create things for other people and we leave it there. We don't even know we're doing it. I create energy because it was, that was subconsciously programmed into me to do it myself. I come create energy and I just leave it there. I don't even know what I've just done. I have no idea, So when you come together with a person, for example, let's say a relationship, that's what we talk about, on my channel most of the time. So let's just talk about a romantic relationship. You come together with somebody in a romantic relationship, that's generating energy. Most people don't have a fucking clue what it's doing. They have no idea. That's generating energy between you and that person. And whatever happens between the two of you. You separate because, again, we have no idea what kind of energies we're generating. And then what do we do? With all that energy me and that person just created? What do we do? Nothing. Because we don't even know that we just created a very, very intense energetic tie. We don't even know we did it. We don't know how we did it. We don't know what kind of energy we just created. We just created an energetic tie, and it just sits there our entire lives. We don't even know that we are still energetically tied. Not just to that person, but to every single person we have ever encountered in our entire lives. We're still energetically tied because we created something underneath of our conscious awareness, and we didn't even know we did it, and we didn't do anything with it. It's just sitting there. So it's unresolved. So we keep coming back lifetime after lifetime, tied, and we don't even know. We don't even have a clue. So what do we have to do with that energy? We have to transmute it. We have to take that energy and do something with it with a clear intention in mind. Okay, you have no idea how powerful your perception is. No idea. You have no idea how powerful your perception is. Your perception is the creative force. It is the creative force. The problem is the vast majority of us perceive things in a way that has been programmed for us. We perceive things in a way that has been programmed and pounded into our head for us, and we're creating it with our perception. Okay, well, you have to understand that whatever you choose to perceive is what exists. Is whatever you choose to believe and however you choose to perceive something is exactly what it is, because that's how powerful you are. So, and I've said this many times, so a lot of you have probably heard me say this before, but in order to untie from anything karmically, you have to take whatever situation you're dealing with and assign it a new meaning. You're the one with the power to do that. Nobody else has the power to do that. Okay, but we give everybody else around us the power to assign meaning to our life experiences. And that's another reason why we stay here on the karmic wheel. You have to assign it your own meaning. And I've come up with 3 steps. 3 steps to completely undo that entire process. Okay? Now, you can take these and you can play around with them and do whatever you want with them. You don't have to follow it just because I said it has to be this way. But as a way to get the ball rolling so that you can take control of your own energy and start doing it yourself, step number 1, what did that situation, that experience, what did it teach me about myself? That's the first step. It's one of the hardest steps too. What did that teach me about me? Okay? Anytime we have any kind of experience, or anytime, especially if it's a traumatic experience, and we say, what did you learn? We always want to point the finger. We always want to talk about what we learned out here. I learned this about you. I learned that about this person. And I learned this about that person. That's cute. That's cute. But that's only about 25% of the whole learning experience. What did that situation teach me about me? Okay? It's like a bowling ball sized pill, but you can get it down if you're willing to. Step number 2, as soon as I figure out what I learned about myself from that experience, I need to dedicate I need to make it my life's work to applying those changes to my life. What did I learn about myself? Once I figure it out, I need to begin applying it to my life. Okay, and as long as I stay dedicated to doing that, as long as I stay dedicated and consistent to applying changes to my life based on what I learned from that situation, eventually it will begin to produce positive results in my life. It will. There is no question. There is no question. As long as I am dedicated to applying what I learned about myself based on that situation, it will produce positive results in my life. And as soon as that begins to happen, as soon as I can see things, tangible things that I can point to in my life that are a direct result of the changes that I made based on what I learned from that situation, I take that person, that whole damn scenario, the whole situation, and I tie them to these positive changes. And I assigned that situation a new meaning. That's why this happened. That's why this happened. Oh, I see why that had to happen that way. So this could happen. Bam. You just took control. You just took the energy, you ripped it apart, you flipped it on its head, and you took your power back, and you assigned that situation a whole new meaning. Now, again, do you have to do it exactly the way I said? No, not necessarily. But if you do, it'll work. It'll work. This is how simple it is. This is how simple and how easy it is to take your power back. This is how powerful your perception is. See what I'm saying? This is how powerful it is. Take my career, for example. Take this. I haven't told this story in a long time, and I'm not going to sit here and tell the whole damn story, but essentially, this right here was created. I experienced a very sudden, abrupt, and unexpected connection with a person. Very sudden, abrupt, and unexpected. I mean, it hit me in the head like a ton of bricks, splashed cold water in my face, and I was like, what the fuck? At the time, it was the most intense connection that I'd ever felt with almost anybody, you know? And some things went wrong. It was a really rocky, crazy situation, whatever. I departed from this person. And this person owned real estate in my head. This person owned real estate in my head. Well, during that time that I was connected with that person, during that time, a random stranger approached me and said, I'm supposed to read for you. I was like, you know, read me a bedtime story? What the hell does that mean, you know? I'm supposed to read for you. I don't know why. I don't even know what read for me means. I'd never heard of that. I didn't know anything about it. And so this person picked me up one day and took me to her house and starts flipping these strange, funky cards. Matter of fact, I got the deck too. It's the Pagan Tarot. Look. This right here. This right here is the deck that my very first reading that I ever received was done with, was the Pagan Tarot. So she commenced to flipping these strange, weird, funky looking cards that are flying all over the place and gave me like the scariest fucking accurate. How the hell do you, I mean, she's tapping into spirit channeling, you know what I mean? Talking shit that nobody knows on this planet, let alone somebody that I met 1,000 miles away from where I grew up that didn't know me from Adam, you know what I mean? But anyway, so I kind of chucked that aside and like that was really fucking weird, and I just tucked it away in the back of my mind and didn't think much about it. Anyway, about a year later, I start seeing these tarot card videos on YouTube being recommended to me. And I thought, that is the stupidest fucking thing I have ever seen in my life. But then this little voice in the back of my head said, yeah, but you got a tarot card reading one time and it was the most accurate fucking thing. I was like, yeah, but there's no way you can do that on YouTube. There is no way. Yeah, I could see maybe if it's like some kind of crazy psychic or something like that. But there is no way that what, Aquarius, September 2018, like there's no way you could tell me anything about what I'm going through. I'm not watching that stupid shit. So I would see him constantly being recommended to me for months and months and months. And every time I would see it, that little voice in the back of my head said, yeah, but remember that one tarot card reading that you had? Yeah, but there's no way you can. And I went through this mental battle for a couple of months. Finally, I was like, you know what? A lot of people are watching these things. I'm seeing 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, 50,000 views on these things. There must be something to it. So I clicked on one day. And here's, look. In that video that I clicked on, I have both of these decks, dude. These decks are important to me. The very first tarot card reading video I ever clicked on was a video from Carol's Universe. And she was reading with this deck. And it told the story of that connection that I experienced with that person. And my jaw was on the floor. I was like, how the fuck do you know that? Like, I was stunned. I was floored, dude. And I got addicted to the YouTube tarot card reading videos. I was addicted to it. I would binge watch them like a drug. You know what I mean? I would binge watch them like a fucking drug. And let's see, that was December 2017. So, probably about the next 6 months. January, February, March, April, May, June. Probably more, about the next 6 months or so. Somewhere in there, about the next 6 months. I would just, like a drug, dude. I worked at a car wash, making minimum wage, and on dead days, I would just sit there with my phone, watching for customers with a YouTube tarot reading on, listening to it all day, every day, And I started thinking, man, I am not getting the clarity that I want from these videos. It's just not, it's getting the story right, but it's not telling me what I'm looking for, I was like, well, I'm broke. I can't afford to come to any of these people for a personal reading, but you know what I can do? I can go up the street to the little spiritual shop up there. I can buy me a deck of these little shits and I can learn this shit myself. And that's what I did. I went up and I got me some cards, a couple different decks, played around, and I just obsessively, I had about maybe 10 or 15 readers that I watched, give or take, something like that. I had a handful of them that I would watch, and I would just sit there and obsessively watch them and like, okay, what are they doing? Let me try that. And for about the next 2 or 3 months, I just obsessively started learning how to play with the cards myself just to gain clarity with my own situation. That's the only reason I ever picked these fuckers up. Shh, don't tell nobody. This is embarrassing. That I don't want nobody to know about this. Like, you know what I mean? That's really, nobody knew about this except the girl I was dating, and she didn't even really understand the full scope of it. She knew that I kind of watched them. She didn't really care about it. It didn't interest her none, and she didn't really pay attention to what I was doing. But anyway, I started figuring out how to play with them, and I was like, okay, well, I can kind of read a little bit, kind of sort of read and shuffle them, and I'm not getting the clarity that I wanted. I'm getting the same thing the YouTube readers are telling me, and I was kind of like, well, fuck. And then this little voice in the back of my head said, hey, why don't you put a couple of them videos on YouTube? Nah, I couldn't do that, man. No, you wouldn't catch me dead doing that. But why not? What would happen? I wonder what would happen. Think anybody would watch it? Nah, hell no, man. I would get laughed off of YouTube. Ain't no way nobody would pay attention to anything and I had this mental battle in my head for maybe the next 2 or 3 months, something like that. In little few month increments, And then finally that voice kept getting louder and louder and louder and louder and louder. And I was like, all right, well, I can't shut this little voice up. I had my channel up and going. I put videos on there. And I had about 900 subscribers, something like that. So I said, all right, September 2018, I was like, all right, well, fuck it. You know what? It was at the end of August. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and just try it. I'm going to see what happens, Maybe, hopefully. This was at the end of August. Hopefully by Thanksgiving, I'm going to try to have 10,000 subscribers. That was my goal. I didn't think anybody would watch me at all, Anyway, long story short, I did it. Ba-boom, it blew up. Thanksgiving rolled around. I had 50,000. And it just turned my life upside down and inside out and launched me off onto this path that I never, ever, ever in a gazillion years would have imagined. Ever in a gazillion years. Okay. Now the story does get much deeper than that, and it's much more complex than that. In the middle of all that, I was working on manifesting my own business too. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it than that little part that I just told you. Anyway, I told you that to say this. A couple of months later, I was still karmically tied to this person. And then this one day, whoa, that's why that connection happened. This is why. This is the reason why. It all flowed together so perfectly and beautifully, you know? That's why it happened. And just like that, that person's energy left me. You know? Now, if I hadn't made the decision to assign that meaning to this right here, I would still be karmically tied to this person. I'm the one that had to do that. I could have assigned it any meaning that I wanted to. I'm the one with my perception that said, that's why this connection happened. That was the meaning. Now the energy is resolved. It's resolved. That's the meaning. That's why it happened. You know why? Because I said so. That's how, in a nutshell, everybody's different. There is not really a blanket that you can fit over every single person. You know, everybody has their own situations. Everybody's going on a very unique path, and everybody has very different experiences. But does that whoever that was that asked something about karma, does that give you an idea of how to untie it, cut the contract, and clear it? You see what I'm saying? We have to do something with the energy. That's called energy transmutation. Energy transmutation. Like I said, we come into this earth game and we are in severe amnesia. We don't know what the hell we're doing here. We don't remember. We don't know why we came here. We're just all of a sudden here we are. You know, our conscious awareness. I mean, we don't even, most of us, some people do, but we don't even remember. You know, our memory doesn't even kick in until after we've been here for a few years. You know what I mean? Our consciousness doesn't really fully grasp on and start becoming really fully aware of this dimension until we've already been here for a few years. So we don't remember where the hell we came from, and we're being programmed. Being programmed and brainwashed into creating things for other people. We're having other people, other organizations think their thoughts through us. And we don't even realize it's happening. So we're manifesting energies and we're manifesting other things for other people. We don't even know we're doing it. We're not even aware of it. And we're creating all this energy. We have no idea that we're doing it. And we're just like a snowball. You know, we keep collecting all this vibrational baggage and creating all this energy that keeps getting tied to us. And we're like a snowball. It just, our entire life, this ball gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we get over to the other side and we got all this fucking unresolved energy here. Well, it's that easy to resolve energy. It's that easy to transmute energy. It is that easy. Okay? But there's a lot of issues, a lot of big issues. We don't fully understand how powerful we are. We don't trust ourselves, do we? I don't trust myself. I'm not powerful enough. You know, I have to come to a tarot card reader or a healer, you know, and people come to people like me and give me all of your power, you know. And unfortunately, there are some people out there that will take your power and run with it and your money, you know, and keep you coming back. That's not what I'm here for. You hand me your power, I polish it up, and I hand it right back to you. See what I'm saying? Makes sense. That was a nice tangent to go on. My goal whenever I come onto these chats here is to always go on some kind of tangent, some kind of helpful tangent, that is. Some kind of helpful tangent, you know. So hopefully at least one person needed to hear that, and they can take that information and it can help them step off onto a path that completely transforms their reality. Ain't nothing special about me. Nope, nothing special about me. This is all going to be mainstream common sense in the next decade. We just got to get it, we got to really get it out there, you know what I mean? You are very, very powerful. Much more powerful than you have ever been led to believe. Very, very powerful. And that's just a little taste of it. That's just a little taste of it. You're incredibly, insanely, mind-bogglingly powerful. You. Anywho, yeah, I had to get these two tarot decks. These two decks, to me, like I said, this right here was the deck that my very first reading was ever done with. The Pagan Tarot. Okay, for those of you who remember Tina, this was her favorite deck. And this is the deck. And to me, it's really, it's you know how I tell you I'm Rider-Waite. I'm all about Rider-Waite. This is the furthest thing from Rider-Waite that it possibly gets. Well, there's a couple of them. There's a couple of the cards in the deck that are kind of Rider-Waite-y a little bit. Like the Four of Swords, that's kind of Rider-Waite there. Justice, kind of, sort of. But let me show you, hang on. Two of Swords, kind of. Okay. Let me show you some, though, that like Elemental of Wands. Elemental of Wands. It's a lizard on a rock. The fuck? You know what I mean? See what I'm saying? Nine of Swords, that's Rider-Waite-y. Okay, that's very Rider-Waite inspired there. Okay, Elder of Wands, kind of like the King of Wands. Ace of Wands. Here, and let me find another weird one. Hold on. Three of Wands. Here we go. The Three of Wands. Some girl sitting at a computer? The hell? You know what I mean? Six of Wands. There aren't any wands in the card here, but I could kind of see. I'm trying to find another. The Hangman. Okay, look. What's this? What's that have to do with the Hangman? I guess I'd have to read the book, maybe. I'd have to read the book. The Hierophant? That's the Hierophant, right? Yeah. The hell does that have to do with the Hierophant? Anyway. So yeah, this right here was the deck that my very first reading was ever done with. And this one here is the one that the very first YouTube tarot card reading video I ever watched, she was using this deck. So these are two important decks to me that I think are cool. And I just wanted to have them. I use this one on video a lot. Yesterday, I used this one a couple of times. I got to get the feel for this, man. I got to get the feel for this one. Well, okay, Five of Pentacles. And like I said, I'd probably have to read the guidebook, but what the hell does that have to do with the Five of Pentacles? You know what I mean? Elemental of Swords. Some naked fairy lady. What the hell? What's that have to do with anything? There's not a single sword. There's not a single sword in this whole card. It's just some naked fairy chick sticking her titties out. See what I'm saying? Elder of Swords, okay. Eight of Cups. What's that have to do with the Eight of Cups? Maybe she's about to walk out the door and walk away from those cups. I don't know. I hope I'm not boring y'all, but anyway. Oh, and check this out. I got another story about another tarot card deck. Hold up. So you know how I've been getting those specialty decks from, and I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce his name. He's the same guy that created the Gilded Tarot and the Gilded. He's real famous tarot card. He's huge. Ciro Mercury, I think is how you pronounce his name. Anyway, I got this deck. I think it's Ciro Mercury or something like that. And he's had, he has his own Etsy store. And he sells these little specialty decks that I haven't seen anywhere on Amazon or anything like that. These specialty decks. And I've gotten all three of them so far. They're really cool. The first one that I got here was what they call the retrospective tarot. And this, if you're not a tarot reader, this might not interest you any. But the retrospective tarot. Okay, it's like the specialty deck. and where basically he took mashups from all of his decks, like the Gilded Tarot Royale, the Tarot of Dreams, which is another important deck. That's the deck that I learned on. And he mashed them all up into this deck right here. It's called the Retrospective Tarot. Like there's the Sun card, there's the Six of Coins, Three of Coins, and these are all like mashups of the Gilded Tarot Royale, and the Tarot of Dreams. And I got that one, and then I got Encore, the Encore Tarot, which is essentially kind of sort of the same thing. Kind of sort of the same thing, but I think he even did some mashups from this deck too. Anyway, then I went and ordered this one, the Mercury Tarot. And this was like the last specialty deck that was on there. And if you notice, all these decks here have this pretty, like this has silver edges, this one has red edges. Well, this one here, whatever they use to paint the edges of this one, I received this deck a few weeks ago, and it was like this paint was caked on here, and all the cards were glued together. And I was trying to take them apart, and they all ripped and shit, so I wrote them, and I was like, hey, man, is there any way I could get a replacement deck? Is there any way? You know what I mean? Because I got these, and all the cards were like glued together and shit, you know? And he went ahead and said, yeah, I'll go ahead and send you a replacement deck. So, and they come with a signed card. He sent me a replacement here. He puts a signed card from each deck, like a little autograph in it, you know? And he even sent me this little tarot tapestry thingy, a little tarot cloth or whatever. Anyway, though, I thought that was cool. That was cool of him to replace it, you know? But anyway, it had just showed up yesterday. I've been waiting on this for like weeks. Been waiting on this replacement deck for like weeks. It's cool, man. This one is a little bit difficult to read with, though. I ain't gonna lie. A little bit difficult, a little bit weird. It's gonna take some getting used to. Like there's the King of Cups. That's kind of cool. Ooh, that's a cool Empress card. It's cool, man. But anyway, I hope I'm not boring y'all. So, anywho, I'm getting good and fired up for the day now. Getting kind of hungry. I love coming on here and chatting in the mornings. It wakes me up. Gets my voice box kicked in. Gets my voice box all kicked in, gets my brain working. Like I said, I gotta go take the kiddos to a soccer game, and then I gotta come straight home and get some readings done. Straight home. Because I got one, she forgot to print it out yesterday. It's due at like noon, 11:30, noon, something like that. And I gotta come straight home and start doing that. Anywho. Starting to get a little warm in here. I'm gonna get out of this hoodie. Alrighty. So what's up, y'all? What it do? Sorry, I've been kind of not really responding to comments. Oh, maybe somebody needed to hear that, though, that, you know, how to clear some karmic energy, you know, because we ain't got time for that shit now, man, with where we're going as a human race, or whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call what we are, you know, we just on the planet in general, we don't have time to be stuck on the karmic wheel, having all this unresolved energy and coming back lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, because it just gets harder and harder and worse and worse and harder and worse and harder and worse. And we got to get to work on that stuff now, man. We got to get to work on that stuff now. You know what I mean? And it's just really irritating how I know it's part of the game. It's part of the Earth game, you know? But it's just really irritating how it's been so hidden from us. It's been so hidden from us and so I don't even know the word, man. And we're just so insanely powerful. So insanely powerful, and it's so simple. It don't take nothing. Doesn't take nothing really to unwire, you know, our programmings and take our power back. And we just got to get to it. That's all I'm saying. We just got to get to it. Taking our power back. So anywho, probably gonna go ahead and hop on out of here, y'all. Yep, inner child work, all that good stuff. It all works the same way. It all works the same way. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. If you can remember. If you can't, then hopefully after you start making your way down the healing path, healing become like the more you step off on a healing path, okay, and you really start looking back and transmuting some energies and releasing things and whatnot, I can't really say it becomes like easier. You just get more accustomed to it. Does that make sense? It's like fitness. If you're into fitness, it never gets easy. It's not supposed to. The minute it starts getting easier, then that's when you got to start working harder to take yourself up to the next level, you know? So it's just one of them things. But once you get the ball rolling, it's pretty difficult to stop the ball rolling. You know what I mean? It's going to keep rolling. Once you start off down that healing path, you're not really going to stop. Not really. You might sit and take breaks and get kind of exhausted and worn out and whatnot. But once you really take the reins, take the wheel, and really start heading down that healing path, and I know I just said take the wheel, but let universe take the wheel. Know when to take the wheel and when to let universe take the wheel and develop that relationship. You're good. You're headed in a good direction, you know? It doesn't mean it's gonna be rainbows and unicorn farts. That's not what it means, but things will start to drastically transform and improve in your life, okay? Anyway, though, it's about time for me to hop out of here, y'all. About time for me to hop on out of here. I have no idea what all kind of work I'm gonna be doing on my main channel today. And I would really rather not speculate, because it seems like every time I do that, something gets in the way and I say I'm going to do something and it ends up not happening for whatever reason. But I started some October mid-months. That's what I started doing. So I'm going to do the best that I can to get some of those up today. And other than that, though, I'll see you at some point later on my main channel. All right? Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.